Time to get in the huddle with Fruita Monument coach Cameron Ross on the team.
And Wildcats football coach Cam Ross, brought to you by the Rick Nelson Agency and American Family Insurance. For a free comparison, call this team of licensed professionals at 970-241-0078. Cam Ross joins us. Cam, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jim. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Appreciate the time as always. Your football team went on the road, played Chaparral last Friday. Just tough sledding in that game. They really put it away with the 2-touchdown fourth quarter to win 30-0. So I guess when you look at your team, facing a really good Chaparral football team last Friday night, I know that it's been challenging at times to score points for your football team, but kind of take us through what you saw from your team and maybe some areas of improvement for your football team that are maybe being overlooked with a 30-0 loss.
Well, one of the things that I was proud of our guys, proud of our defense. Minus two big plays, I think our defense played a pretty good game against Chaparral. Definitely put us in position to compete within that game and possibly win it. And the problem was that our offense didn't come through this time around. And it's frustrating as a coach when you take a look at getting things set up and just not having everybody on the same page. And so one of the problems we ran into against Chaparral, at least offensively, was we look at the film, we had 9-10 guys doing their job, maybe one guy not. And then finally, when we started putting some things together, we couldn't get out of our own way. Anytime that you give up 3 fumbles, two interceptions, that's going to be drive killers, and that's going to be hard to put points on the board with that.
Yeah, well, from a defensive standpoint, you're right about that. Garrick Ashford, who you talked about going into the game, a really talented running back, the junior. He had 20 carries. He got to 115 yards, but touchdown in that game, 143 yards on the ground. They had 129 from their quarterback through the air. But overall, the defense looked like they did their job. And for your football team, as you referenced, a couple of turnovers. Cooper Rowell came in and threw a couple of interceptions in that game. And you had actually outrushed me at 162 yards on the ground. So there were some positive things, most notably with the ground game, and Tavion Trujillo with 50 yards in that contest. Chris Bennett had 48. He averaged 4.8 yards per carry in that loss to the Wolverines.
And we did, and there were some definite positives that we could take away from that, and it's just getting momentum going in execution, and part of that is on us as coaches. We got to make sure that we're continuing to put our guys in situations where they can be successful, and then part of it is on our players to take ownership and execute on the field. And so we did see some good things within that. I do feel that we are continuing to grow. We just sometimes had a bad game on Friday night where we all took turns, not doing our job sometimes. When we take a look at the field, it wasn't 1 or 2 people. Everyone was taking a chance with that, with our first road trip. And so we're going to have to get better at getting on the road and going, because we're definitely going to be going over to Denver some more this year. So,
of course, you got Castle View coming up on the road as you open up 5A play with in league with Castle View coming up here in a couple of weeks. But Grand Junction this Friday, battle for the Black and Blue Trophy, and then Montrose to follow. You're taking on 2 top 10 teams in 4A in the Colorado Preps poll back-to-back weeks. While not a 5A, not a 5A schedule with these next 2 opponents, they're 4A opponents. These are 2 of the best teams right now in 4A football.
Yes, there's no easy sledding for us this season, and I talk to our guys about every week being a dogfight, and so we're again taking the mentality of the next week and focus on the next game. And it doesn't really matter right now how many A's are behind people's names. It's going to be a dogfight for us, like you said, playing some good competition in 4A, good competition in 5A. And so we're looking forward to the game against Junction this weekend. We know with a big rivalry game that the atmosphere is going to be great, that both teams are going to bring in a lot of energy, a lot of intensity. And so we're trying to get, right the ship and get back going with Fruita football. And we're looking forward to that chance and that opportunity this week.
And for Grand Junction, they're off to a 3-0 start for the first time since 2013. And Will Applegate, the quarterback, has been, they've had a lot of guys play really well on the offensive side, but it begins with big Will Applegate and what he can do throwing the football, but also in the quarterback run game.
Yeah, you can't talk about their offense without first talking about Will. He's got a great arm. He's throwing with a lot more accuracy this year. And he's just a big young man. He's very hard to bring down. Several times when he's scoring touchdowns on film, it's maybe a broken play, and he just decides to do it himself. And he'll barrel in from 5, 6, 7 yards out. We're going to definitely have to tackle him low and gang tackle him to get him onto the ground. And they back that up with some good running backs in Mathis Martinez and Noah Watkins that have some speed and have some shiftiness. They got some really good receivers in Mason Anderson, who's got a lot of speed on the outside. And so, again, we're going to need a great game from our defense to put us in good positions, and then we're going to need our offense to execute this week and come through for us.
And defensively, they've been really good to start the season. Corbin Davis has got 21 tackles for them. They've also, Diego Gallegos has got 19 tackles. I think what Landon McKee's seen from his defense in some ways is as impressive as what he's seen from the offensive side of the football from Grand Junction.
Yes, their defense is doing really well this year. Corbin Davis and Diego, they've got some good tackles for us. For Junction, the Langland kid, number 16, their middle linebacker, is leading their tackles right now, and he looks very good on film. I know Will plays middle linebacker as well, and he's a force there in the middle, but they've got some other seniors that are playing really well. They've got Dimmick up front and Martinez up front that do a great job. I'm impressed with their defensive line. They fire off the ball well. They get into you. Linebackers flow well. They've got a lot of seniors that have seen a lot of varsity experience, and I know that they've taken their licks over the years, but I think that's paying off for them now. So we're going to have to bring that intensity. We're going to have to get off the ball, and we're going to have to get after it, and get on our blocks and make sure that we know what we're doing up front and execute.
Fruita Monument football coach Cam Ross with us today on the Team Sports Network. You've won the last 8 straight matchups with Grand Junction, retaining the black and blue trophy. But this one might be the most challenging one you've had during that stretch, because this is an experienced football team. You've got a little bit of youth and rebuilding on your side of things, Cam, and this, like I said, could be the toughest test that you've had in this rivalry in recent years with Grand Junction.
I think so. Like we just talked about, they do have a lot of varsity experience on their side of the ball right now, and we're still trying to gain that on our side. And one of the things we talk to our kids about, this is not the same Junction football team that we've played in the past. They're playing with confidence now that they may not have had in the past, and that can be a scary situation. So we definitely look for Junction to come out and punch us in the mouth right away, and we're just going to have to match that intensity and get after them ourselves.
All right, so that game Friday night, the battle